Segment 3, August 19th, Friday. Great to see you. Glad you made it. Glad you're alive. It's a big accomplishment making it through another week under the Biden regime. And the question I like to ask everybody, have you thanked a Biden voter this week? I know they want the thanks. I know they want the recognition. Anyway, it is Conspiracy Friday. We have a lot more to talk about in segment 3. But before we go too far ahead, I want to share this, because this has really been bothering me. I am not a financial expert, and that's painfully obvious. Just ask my wife. But I have been following and paying attention to digital currency and the fact that it provides security and freedom. And to me, the biggest thing about digital currency, again, I'm not giving financial advice at all, is this thing called blockchain, and the fact that the way things are compartmentalized and private and independent from a central entity, we get more control. The more you centralize control, the more you and I become slaves to a system. Whether you centralize medical guidelines or law, you make it the same for everybody. Whether you centralize education, the more you centralize, there's one group of people, one group of elites in this case, or one bank, the less control the citizens have, the less control you and I have. So the reason I want to bring this up, this is one of Joe Biden's many, I think he holds the record at this point, for executive orders. And there's no better way to get around Congress and get around the citizens of the United States and to get around the law than executive orders. And all presidents have them. Some of them make common sense. Some of them make sense. Some of them are needed, depending on what is going on in the country at the time. But this executive order, and I'll give you the number, you can go research it yourself. Again, I'm just a researcher looking for the truth. I try to find it. I share it with you. Throw in some analysis. Change my sport code. Okay? Executive Order 14067. 14067. Okay? Here is the title of the executive order: Ensuring Responsible Development of Digital Assets. Okay. We already have digital currency and cyber money. We already have it. Billions of people are using it. The reason Biden, and he's not the only country, the reason Biden, and it really isn't even him. I mean, I read the whole executive order. It's not him. He can't even get through a sentence by himself. This is probably a little piece of the UN and Obama in there. And the bottom line, your government does not wanting you to set up a digital currency between other citizens, or other people for that matter, that's fair and transparent, that they cannot control. That's all this is. That's what this executive order is. Digital currency is very difficult to understand. I still don't get all the aspects of it. But one thing I get about it, having used it, it's very easy and it's extremely transparent, and you're not saddled to the dollar, which is just a piece of paper. I know. All those dollars we have saved. And what are they worth? They're worth whatever the government says they're worth. What is the government going to say this week? What is the Fed going to do this week? I don't know. They're controlling it. They control it. Not us. We don't live in a free market. It's never been a completely free market. We want a free market, but you cannot have a free market with this level of government intervention and control and overreach. So along comes the digital coins, cyber currency, explosion, innovation, development. I think everybody's familiar with Bitcoin, but there are thousands out there. There are thousands. And some of them, again, I'm not giving advice. I'm just saying that, isn't it amazing when the government overreaches and pushes the people to a certain level, whatever it may be, and the government is they're running out of room that they can push us. You know, they screwed us over on the COVID thing and medical, and they screwed us over on taxes, right? And now they're like, don't you dare come up with a better way to exchange value among yourselves. That's what this is all about. If you think for 1 minute that Joe Biden or anyone that rich and dirty in the government wants to make sure that the digital assets are developed responsibly and secure, you're out of your mind. Because some banks are among the most crooked institutions, and the government has been scamming us with every major entity for what, 50 years? How much has been lost with the COVID relief packages? Billions and billions over 2 years? And now they're coming to the American citizens and saying, yeah, about this digital currency. Well, first of all, we're going to have to start tracking it. In fact, they say, why don't we come up with something called CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currencies? But that is the exact opposite of a digital currency. It's not designed to be centralized. That's why it's trusted. Do you trust your bank? I'm not going to mention a name, but do you trust your bank? When you go to when you're standing in line at the bank, if you still do that, or do you do it online, or over the phone, or through the drive-thru? But do you trust them? Again, I like asking questions. I don't trust mine. I don't trust my bank. I wish I could. But, so, this executive order, and pay close attention, because I'm going to tell you when it goes into effect. Oh my goodness, look at that. September 2022. Central bank digital currencies. All right, I'm just going to read some of the... I'm not going to read all of it. It's big. It's thick. Again, I'm a geek. I like reading this stuff and finding it out. And as I read through this, I realized, wait a second. They're not excited. The government isn't like, this is so great that you guys are using like Litecoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin and Bitcoin. It's great. Why am I talking? I don't know why I'm getting all Trumpy. No, they know that the dollar is starting to suck wind. And countries like India are like, yeah, we're not impressed with the dollar that much anymore. Because you guys mishandled it. And you're so in debt up to your ass, America is, that long term people are looking at the dollar. And I know there's Wall Street wonks out there, and all I have is a BA degree. But it's about doing the research. Who has faith in a country's economic system if it'll take us centuries to get out of debt? Who's driving around in Italy right now saying, you know, I got to tell you that Joe Biden's doing a great job. America's really coming back strong. And don't you worry about that $30 trillion debt. Don't you worry. You just keep investing. In what? Paper? There's no silver or gold behind our money. Anyway, getting back to Executive Order 14067. Ensuring responsible development of digital assets. Excuse me again. Section 1, policy. The digital currency has profound implications for the protection of consumers. Sounds good, right? That's what MSNBC will tell you. They'll pick the lines. Well, this is only for your own good. It's only for your own good that we track every penny of yours because we care. No, it's just the opposite. If you want financial stability, get the governor, well, Freudian slip, but get him out too. Get the government the hell out of your finances if you want financial stability. The only reason the government tracks you or me is so they can take something from us. Is it a gun? Is it money? Is it land? Maybe it's our kids. That's the only reason they track us. That's the only reason this has even come. This has popped up the same way when over 100 years ago, people started doing forgive me. They started targeting natural medicine. This is the same concept. There was a lot of homeopathic healing. There was natural medicine. And over 100 years ago, the government started targeting that. Because they had to favor one group over another. So they had to favor medical schools and big oil over you and I know this is a weird example, but stay with me. You and I saying, we use some of that root from the whatever plant. And boy, that seemed to work. We don't need to get all that weird medicine, and we can try that root really worked. And the government was like, screw you, the root worked. What are you, a wacko? You're not even going to be allowed to use that root anymore. We're not going to let you grow it. We're not going to let you share it. Does that sound familiar? Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamin D. You're not going to do that. You're going to take the remdesivir and shut up. And then we're going to ventilate you if you're a problem. You're not going to do digital currency. Not without the central bank. The central bank's illegal, by the way, just like the Federal Reserve is. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation, which has never been audited. But that's for another day. Here's the very opening salvo of this garbage executive order, which is, 30-something pages of basically saying, oh, those damn citizens, they're supposed to be our slaves. But there they go again, solving a problem of commerce and currency exchange so it's transparent and independent. Damn them. We'll teach them a lesson. Did you ever notice that? Did you ever notice the government's always teaching us a lesson? Hey, I found a cure for this. No, you didn't. Hey, we've got a car that runs on water. Well, you're going to die soon. It is Conspiracy Friday, but do the research. Do the research. There was a car that ran on water. And here we are in the oil crisis again. Right? So we went off, and not just in America, but globally, the citizens discovered or invented or whatever they did to create this digital platform, digital currency. And now it's one more layer of independence that the citizens of countries like ours have from the government. And the government is not going to tolerate this. So out comes an executive order. And we're doing it for you, for your safety, for the children, for consumer protection. Consumer protection is one of the dumbest comments coming from the government, because you can't even protect your damn border. You can't even keep the congressional computers from being hacked. Consumer protection, my ass. You like consumer extortion, and you want a piece of this digital action. You don't need billions of people around the world deciding who even needs the dollar. It's garbage anyway, right? That's what this is about. Profound implications for the protection of consumers, investors, and businesses. Now, it just goes south from there, including data privacy and security, financial stability, systemic risk, crime, national security. Here's where it goes right off the rails. The ability to exercise human rights. What? Digital currency can hinder the ability to... No, it can't. It's just the opposite. Digital currency gives anyone the opportunity to invest and grow wealth at some level, and the government doesn't like that. The government likes to pick and choose winners and losers. Financial inclusion. This is where we get to the woke crap. Well, if you've got this digital coin or this cyber currency, it's not fair because he's got that cyber currency. Do you see? It's the same pattern over and over and over again. What reason is the government involved in this? You cannot answer that question. Well, Ken, it's to keep you safe, and it's to keep, crime and theft. That's already on the books. It's already on the books. All of this is already on the books. And let me ask you this. Tell me, how do you think the United States government is doing protecting your wealth and my wealth and your money and keeping banks safe and keeping digital platforms safe? How do you think they're doing on that? Yeah, it gets better. So in the very beginning of the executive order that's entitled Ensuring Responsible Development of Digital Assets in America, the ability to exercise human rights, financial inclusion, and equity, and energy demand, and climate change. While many activities involving digital assets are within the scope of existing domestic laws, that's what I just said, and regulations, which is an area where the U.S. has been a global leader, right? Growing development and adoption of digital assets and related innovations, as well as inconsistent controls to defend against certain risk, necessitate an evolution and alignment of the United States government and its approach to digital assets. Translation: you've got something of value that we want. We're going to come in and regulate the hell out of it. And those days of a secret transaction between you and your neighbor where no one gets hurt and it's completely transparent, and blockchain means nobody's getting a skim off a skim off a skim. The government wants it now. That's why they brought in a central bank. And they're calling it the Central Digital Bank. And what they're going to do is, because digital does have more safety attached to it than not, they're going to say that Well, if you're off doing digital currency on your own, you can get hurt. Let us run it. Let us run healthcare. Let us run education. We'll run the economy. We'll run the colleges. Let us run the border. We know what we're doing. You Bitcoiners, get out of our way. We're the government. That's what that's about. We're going to take strong steps to reduce the risk that digital assets could pose to consumers, investors, business protections, financial stability, financial system integrity, combating and preventing crime, illicit finance, national security, the ability to exercise human rights, there it is again, financial inclusion, there it is again, and equity, there it is again. This is section 2. And climate change, there it is, and pollution. Dude, it's digital currency. So here's how they're going to do it. Let me jump to the my short analysis. And again, do your own research. Policy and actions related to the United States Central Bank digital currency, which that's the proposal right now. So they want to get rid of digital currencies. They want to make their own digital currency. You see? All right? The policy of the Biden regime is as follows. Sovereign money is at the core of a well-functioning financial system, macroeconomic stabilization policies, and economic growth. I don't know if Joe Biden can be more full of crap, but he didn't write this. It's his people. So if this is really true, sovereign money, well-functioning, stabilization, you would have audited the Fed and you would have never gotten rid of the gold standard. Because our money is just paper. Yeah. So that's bullcrap. And then again, in section 4, we revisit the ability to exercise human rights and financial inclusion and equity, and the actions required to launch the U.S. central bank digital currency, if doing so is deemed to be in the national interest. Now, here's how I interpret that. All your future digital transactions will be tracked and controlled by the U.S. government, the same way your dollar transactions are. Go to the bank today and say, I want to take out $11,000, and see if they'll give it to you. Try it. See if you can get beyond, well, what do you need that for? Hold on, I need to get a manager. Sir? Yeah, can you come up? Yeah. Sir, do you have a form for this? Form? What do you mean? Well, you know, we track everything over 99999, right? Now, digital currency will give them the ability to track everything over a penny. Now, here's the thing about digital currency. Once we get off our own currency, once they go digital and everything, they want everything to be digital. They want you to have a card. That's it. That's all you need. I don't need any money. I don't need any silver. I don't need any gold. All I need is this digital Disney World that they want to set up. Now remember, they're going to tell you it's the same as Bitcoin. They're going to say, well, no, this is like Bitcoin and what's that other one? Litecoin. There's so many. This is just like that, but now the government's involved to make it safe. When has the government made anything better for you? Now, instead of going, who is this guy? Turn him off. Why don't you just answer the question? Have they made schools better for you? Has the government made New York City, Milwaukee, Charlotte, North Carolina, have they made it safer for you? Are you safer now than you were? Are you better off now than you were 10 years ago? Let's go with 6 years ago. How about this? Let's go 2 years ago. Are you better off now than you were 2 years ago? Chances are you're not, unless you're a woke stockbroker or you work for the Biden administration. If you're outside of that group, you're probably not better off than you were 2 years ago. Now, listen to this. This is the scary part. Now, I already told you it fires up next month. The executive order was back in April. Central bank digital currency. Okay? This is when they're going to start tracking every digital move you make so they can shut down your ability to engage in commerce without their approval. Why would I need their approval? I don't know. Are you a racist? Are you a sexist? Are you one of those people that goes online and says the 2020 election was stolen? I got an idea. Why don't we just disconnect your ability to conduct digital business? Well, you can't do that. I mean, this is all I have now. It's the central bank digital currency. This is all I have. It's all hooked up now. We know. So you're going to do what we want. You're going to eat what we want, say what we want you to say. You're going to drive what we want. And if we get wind of you at work being all nationalist, we may penalize you. And you may not have access to the central bank digital currency when you need it or want it. Let's say you don't have any cash, and mommy and daddy gives you a credit card, but it's in their name and they can control it. That's central bank digital currency. That's central bank digital currency. But my mommy and daddy gave me this. I got a $5,000 limit on it. Yeah, but they can shut it off if you don't do what you're told. Oh, they'll never do that. Well, maybe they won't, but the government will. Again, I'm trying to simplify this. This is just my analysis from reading this piece of garbage executive order. And most of Joe Biden's executive orders are filled with legalese, deception, zero common sense, and they're garbage. And to me, they sound like communist crap. But you need to read it for yourself. This is another great part. Any future dollar payment system should be designed in a way that is consistent with United States priorities. You see how we're slowly morphing into, as long as you agree with us, then you get to use this. Sound familiar? As long as you get the vaccine, your kid can keep going to Head Start in New York. No, as long as you get the vaccine, you can still be part of the after-school program. Yeah, as long as you get the test, the swab in your nose, near the brain barrier there. If you do that every week, your kids can keep getting the free lunch. Do you get what's happening here? It's the same crap, but now it's with the future of your wealth or money or commercial interactions. Pilot projects involving the central bank digital currency will be in line with the United States priorities. Oh, get this one. This is my favorite. The favorite load of crap that comes out of the mouth of a Democrat. It'll also be in line with Democrat values. Democratic, they call it. Democratic values. Including privacy protections that ensures the global financial system has appropriate transparency, connectivity, platform architecture, and interoperability. Everything those of us that do or want to use digital currency don't want. I don't want the government's ability to track my life through my expenditures, but that's what's coming. I think that's all we're going to do. Yeah, this is just crazy. The chairman of the board of governors of the Federal Reserve System is encouraged to continue and to report on the extent to which central bank digital currencies would improve the efficiency and reduce the cost of existing future payment systems. So a guy that shouldn't even be involved with our government, the chairman of the board of governors of the Federal Reserve System, unconstitutional, unconstitutional, unconstitutional. So pay close attention to this. Excuse me. I'm losing my voice anyway from allergies. Sorry about that. But we're wrapping up the third report. So just look into that. Look into, what if this small business voted for Trump? Do you think we should cut off their digital currency? I don't know. What if that guy breaks the narrative every day he's on the air? Should we just stop his digital connectivity to the finances in the world? See, they can do that now with your banks, and they do. And because they want a central bank, they now want to extend that control over anything. It's exactly opposite of what they said. And that's standard fare with most people in government and almost all leftists in government. So check it out. Executive Order 14067. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Conspiracy Friday. And we've got a lot to cover over the weekend. And if anything breaks, we'll cover that. In the meantime, thank you again for subscribing. Subscribestar.com. And we'll see you next time.